What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about ChargePoint. It's been a while since I've done a ChargePoint video, so I want to go over some of the data points, what's been really affecting it, and what honestly ChargePoint's only hope is right now. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So ChargePoint did go up 3.79% today, 93 cents the low, 99 cents the high. So a lot of volatility, but generally with it being below $1, this is where it gets into somewhat scary territory. And there hasn't been all that much in like substantial news where you need to stop what you're doing, go out and buy ChargePoint. And regrettably, it's been like that for a while now. And I think there was a lot of kind of good hope for their Q3 earnings because the bar was set so low. But surprisingly, ChargePoint was able to pretty much get hit in the face with the bar. So even though with the low expectations, still they didn't really do all that much. So in line with the earnings per share, and then for revenue, they did beat it by 10 million, but they didn't really give good future guidance. So it did prompt for it to go down. Even looking forward, so the next estimated earnings, I don't believe it's been announced yet, is February the 28th, negative 8 cents for the earnings per share and 100.92 million for the revenue. And roughly for the earnings per share revisions, you have 1 positive and 6 negative, and that's kind of being mirrored as well based on a lot of the recent ratings. So there was a sell rating by Goldman Sachs, Mark, who has a 62% success rating, and so that was done 13 days ago. And then aside from that, you just have a lot of just very low expectations. So $2, $1.30, $2, and whatever else. I've been covering ChargePoint for a hell of a long time, close to 2 years on and off, the occasional one video every 2 weeks or something. And it's always been the same thing, just big money, not really paying attention to it. And you can see right here, no transactions of value, so over $100,000 on the secondary market. So big money is kind of just not paying attention to it. You have shorts still relentlessly pounding it. So 29.85% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 121.79 million shares overall are being shorted. And just generally looking at what shorts have been doing, they did return quite a lot leading into December. So even they were saying, hey, these guys are going to beat on their earnings per share because the bar is so low. But yeah, I think everyone was surprised by ChargePoint really just not giving good guidance, nothing like that. So unfortunately, shorts are starting to get back in. Shorts today didn't do all that much. They did increase 33,000 shares, but with potentially no big money really getting in, that 33,000 and whatever else they've done behind the scenes, because that 33,000 is net, that's them trading back and forth quite a lot today. It's like whatever shorts want, that's what's going to happen with ChargePoint. And I think just generally speaking, ever since Trump came in roughly around 9 days ago, it has really shaken the EV market, and ChargePoint has already been having a difficult time as is. Now, without the necessary focus on charging infrastructure, it is just a very interesting losing scenario. And conveniently, it actually is showing and representing ChargePoint right here. So yeah, it was, and it did have a lot of good hope and expectations for 2023. 2024 was more of a transition year. Just they were supposed to get off the ground in the second half of 2024, but nothing unfortunately came to fruition. But based on the options that was done today, 114,000 in calls, 55,000 in puts. Majority of the options being done are around that $1 strike price, so it is just neutral in nature. But even just looking over here, the dollar value, it's pennies. Like people are paying less and less attention to ChargePoint, and I think at this stage, as I kind of alluded to in my earlier video, the only hope for ChargePoint is a acquisition. So I'm going to kind of talk on that in a second. But aside from that, this is the options activity. Options was really never a big popular thing for ChargePoint. So this is the call options. So there's a consensus for it to be kind of around that dollar range, and still like very little, only 24,000 was purchased for that. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $1 by February the 7th. So like I said, very little dollar value, no point in really analyzing this, but as of right now, with the market cap currently at 414.96 million, and them going over, for instance, to their financials based on their last earnings, of course, they have 219 million in cash or cash equivalents, and they are burning through roughly around 31. So they at least do have sufficient amount of cash up until probably it'll be Q3, tail end of Q3. That's when they'll start to dilute more. But I think they're also going down a very scary path, potentially, where they'll have to go down like reverse stock splits and stuff like that, which should really knock them down and add a even greater discount than what is on the table. So I think, like I said, the only hope is potentially just a lot of maybe some big entity out there that wants to dabble with this, that just wants kind of the shells and just the pre-existing infrastructure. Like, that's the only hope for someone to come in. But I think even at 414 million, they'd be ideally looking around that 100, if anything. But that's just my own opinion, of course. So let me know your viewpoint on that. If you're looking at trading it, buying ChargePoint or whatever else with it at 97 cents and change, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 93 cents is that next strong support, and conveniently that's what it bounced off of today, and is roughly kind of that 52-week and all-time low for ChargePoint. And then 104 is going to be that next strong target / resistance. So just take note of some of the strong ones right here. If it does break below that 93 cents, then unfortunately this is where you could see a pullback, even greater pullback, to 77 cents. So I think things might go from bad to worse potentially. But while I'll go back over here and go on the actual chart itself. So on the actual chart, it is below the ALMA, below all the key pivotal moving averages. One key one to really watch for, at least in the short term, for a potential reversal, is that 50-day moving average, and that is sitting at $1.13. ChargePoint, given the circumstances, is very oversold. So potentially if they do put out something, or let's say there's some rumors of a partnership similar to kind of what happened with Intel. Intel was and is trading at a pretty good discount, and then there was that rumor that came out saying that potentially someone might be interested in them and whatever else, that caused the stock price to go higher. Similar nature could happen to ChargePoint. It just I feel like given the circumstances, it is kind of catching a falling knife right now. So I don't know if it's advantageous to average down in hopes of that news or something else. But yeah, this is just my 2 cents on ChargePoint. What have you been doing? Are you buying? Are you selling? Based on just general news, I think a lot of people are still unsure about the whole EV sector in its entirety, and if that is going to really still like have any hope of thriving under a Trump administration. So let me know your viewpoint on ChargePoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Do you think that it is realistic to assume that a entity will want to take over ChargePoint? And if so, what price, kind of market cap wise, would you think is somewhat realistic? So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I launched it roughly around 2 months ago. I put out buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. So just in that 2 months, many of them have doubled, tripled, so definitely worthwhile, like I said, to pop over there. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.